Hello everyone. In the previous lectures, we divided a network like amplifier into two parts. One is the noise part and the other one is amplifier part. By representing so, it is easier for us to analyze the amplifier or to analyze the noise in our communication system. In order to represent the noise quantity, we have used some parameters like signal to noise ratio, signal plus noise by noise ratio, and the signal. Since these are not convenient in all the systems, then we introduced a factor called noise factor, which gives you the relationship between signal to noise ratio at the input to the signal to noise ratio at the output of a system. We tried to find out if multiple systems are available in cascade connection, what happens to this signal to noise ratio. The most important part is if you have an amplifier in your communication system, the signal to noise ratio increases. For our convenience, we represented the noise factor in terms of decibels and we called that parameter as noise figure, which is expressed in decibels. At low frequencies, it is convenient for us either to use noise factor or noise figure. But at high frequencies, this factor is not at all convenient for us. Instead of noise factor, we try to represent that factor with another factor called equivalent noise temperature. And we have seen the relationship between noise factor and equivalent noise temperature. When the multiple systems are connected in cascade, what happens to the noise factor as well as what happens to the equivalent noise temperature that we have seen in the previous lectures. Today, we shall talk about noise factor of lossy network. Until now, I only discussed about a quantity called noise. Now, I am going to introduce a quantity called loss in the network. Let us say I have a source. I am going to give this input to an amplifier. In order to provide this input to an amplifier, generally I will connect either a connecting wire or a coaxial cable or a twisted pair depending upon my communication system. Now if I use a coaxial cable, the coaxial cable may attenuate some signal strength while carrying the signal from your source to the amplifier, and this contributes a loss to the network. In this video, we shall see noise factors in such scenario. Let us say I have a network, I will call it as lossy network, and I will use this lossy network to connect a source which is available here and an amplifier which is available here. The noise factor of this amplifier is, I will represent it with FA. This lossy network will have a noise factor and I will represent it with FNW, noise factor of this network. Similarly, the lossy network will have a gain and I will represent that gain as GNW. Let us see noise factor of this overall system. Anyway, as per the definition of noise factor is defined as signal to noise ratio at the input to signal to noise ratio at the output. So I can write it as S by N at the input by S by N at the output. Now I can write signal to noise ratio at the input by the signal to noise ratio at the output. I will define it as signal to noise ratio at the output equal to, you know that in an amplification process, the signal to noise ratio of the system will increase by a factor of gain. So the signal to noise ratio at the output can be written as signal to noise ratio at the input into gain of the amplifier. In this case, we do not have a factor called gain, but actually we have a factor called loss. That's why instead of writing gain, I will use a factor called loss 1 by L. 1 by L is the power gain of our system. Therefore, signal to noise ratio at the output equal to signal to noise ratio at the input into 1 by L. Now I can write noise factor equal to S by N at the input by S by L into 1 by N at the input. So this is the noise factor in this case. I want noise factor of this total system now. And these two systems are in cascade connection. When the networks are in cascade connection, we know how to find out the resultant noise factor, that is by using Frisch formula, where overall noise factor F equal to noise factor of the first network plus noise factor of the second network minus 1 by overall noise factor up to the first network plus noise factor of the third network minus 1 by overall noise factor up to the first two networks, that is G1 into G2. It is the overall gain here. In the same way, I can write overall noise factor F equal to noise factor of the first network. For the first network, the noise factor is FNW plus noise factor of the second network minus 1 by G1. Noise factor of the second network is FA, that is noise factor of the amplifier. So FA minus 1 by the gain of the first network, that is GNW. If a lossy network and amplifier are connected in cascade connection, then the overall noise factor is this equation, where gain of the network is equal to 1 by L, which is the power gain of a lossy network. Substituting the gain of the network in this equation, the overall noise factor F equal to noise factor of the lossy network plus L into noise factor of the amplifier minus 1. Sometimes the amplifier may be connected to a load by using this lossy network. This is our amplifier whose noise factor is FA, and the output of this amplifier is connected to the load by using a lossy network. Let us say the lossy network is having a noise factor FNW. Since this is an amplifier, it will be having a gain whose gain is gain of the amplifier, GA. If you want overall noise factor in this scenario, then again I can use Frisch formula. Therefore, overall noise factor F equal to noise factor of the first network, that is FA, noise factor of the amplifier, plus noise factor of the second network minus 1, noise factor of the second network is FNW minus 1 by gain of the first network. The gain of the first network is an amplifier, therefore I can write GA. Anyway, GA represents the gain of the amplifier. Generally its value is very large, therefore FNW minus 1 by a large value which is a negligible value. Therefore, overall noise factor is nearly equal to noise factor of the amplifier. If you take very high gain amplifier at the starting stage, then overall noise factor equal to noise factor of your amplifier. That's why it is always encouraged to use a high gain amplifiers in the starting stage of the communication system. This is one of the reasons for placing amplifiers as first block in the receivers before the demodulation process. Noise in reactive circuits. While developing a communication system, the internal circuits like tuned amplifiers, filters or oscillators, we require a tuned circuit. And you know, a tuned circuit will consist of an inductor and capacitor. In most of the cases, they are connected in parallel. An ideal tuned circuit consists of only inductor and a capacitor that I have shown you in the first diagram. If you consider the internal resistance of this inductor also, then you have to replace a resistance here. Let us call this resistance as RS. You can observe the difference between the first circuit and the second circuit. In the first circuit, the tuned circuit is not having any resistance, whereas in the second circuit, I represented an extra resistance here which is RP, because in practice there exists a resistance for every inductor, and that resistance acts as a noise resistance, due to which a noise voltage is developed in the circuit. If that noise voltage is given as an input for the amplifier, definitely that noise voltage is amplified and given it to the output side. Let us say the current which is available in this network is IN. The current is given by voltage by impedance Vn by Z. Since we are talking about noise currents and noise voltages, I represented them as IN and Vn. And the impedance offered by this tuned network is Z, which is equal to Rs plus J times XL minus XC, where XL is reactance offered by the inductor and XC is reactance offered by the capacitor. If the circuit is operated at resonant frequency, then the reactance offered by the inductor is equal to the reactance offered by the capacitor. In that scenario, the resultant of XL minus XC will become 0. In that case, the noise current is given as IN equal to Vn by Rs. And this noise current flows through the capacitor. Then if you try to find out noise voltage across the capacitor, that is equal to noise current multiplied with reactance offered by the capacitor. That is equal to IN, I can replace it with Vn by Rs multiplied with Xc. At resonant condition, the reactance offered by the capacitor is equal to charge which is acquired by the capacitor multiplied with the resistance which is in parallel, that is Rs. Therefore, I can write noise voltage across the capacitor equal to Vn by Rs. In place of Xc, I will substitute Q times Rs. Rs will get cancelled. Remaining is Vn multiplied with Q. Squaring on both sides, V square Nc equal to Vn square Q square. We already know the mean square noise equal to 4kTBr. The resistance which is offered by this tuned circuit is Rs. That's why I am replacing it with Rs. Therefore, V square Nc equal to 4kTB Rs multiplied with Q square. In this equation, this Rs and Q square are related to the practical tuned circuit. I will represent this part as R suffix P. Therefore, noise voltage across the capacitor Vnc equal to 4kTB Rp whole power 1 by 2. Let us see different types of noises which are generated in a bipolar junction transistor. A thermal noise. Thermal noise is mainly due to bulk resistance and extrinsic resistance of the electrodes. Bulk resistance means when the diode is in forward biased condition, the resistance offered by this diode we call it as bulk resistance, and the bulk resistance is a very small value and it acts like a noise resistance, due to which there exists a thermal noise. The second one is extrinsic resistance of the electrodes. Extrinsic resistance means it is the resistance offered by the terminals of base emitter and collector. Due to this resistance, you are going to observe a thermal noise. The short and partition noise is mainly due to biasing circuit of the transistor. You know different types of biasing techniques we have. First one is a fixed bias circuit and second one is connected to base bias and a self bias circuit. In all these three cases, there will be a division of current. Due to this division of current, you are going to observe partition noise. At the same time, you are going to have a short noise due to random collection of charge carriers at emitter, base and collector. You are going to observe the flicker noise and burst noise which are associated with base currents. Let us see different types of noises available in field effect transistor. Thermal noise and flicker noise is due to resistance offered by the channel, that is source drain channel, when it is in operation condition, and the short noise is due to gate leakage current in a field effect transistor. The following diagram shows how the noise figure is varying with respect to frequency of operation of a transistor. And you know the formula for noise figure. Noise figure is the ratio of signal to noise ratio at the input to the signal to noise ratio at the output. Since I am saying it as noise figure, this value is expressed in decibels. And this graph, on x-axis we have frequencies and on y-axis we have noise figure in decibels. The large value of noise figure is mainly due to flicker noise which is at low frequencies, whereas the large value of noise figure is due to partition noise in the higher order frequencies. And in between omega 1, that means this point, to omega 2, that is this point, the noise figure value is almost constant. Generally, we operate the transistor in this region. That's why this region is called operational bandwidth of either a bipolar junction transistor or a field effect transistor. For best practice, we always operate the transistor in between these two frequencies only, which is the operating range of the transistor.